Okay, so this is a little redo of the second half of the video of the Spring Fling earrings. I guess the little perfectionist in me really did not like the way that second one came out. In fact, I wrote in the comments section that it looked like a potato, and I think we could fix that. So let me see if I can do a little something to make it better. So this is where we left off, and I'm just going to continue on with the delicas. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep it, the number of beads on each side as close as possible so that it doesn't, so that it doesn't pull out and, and become so uneven. Let's see if I can get some better light going on here. Still have my old camera because my new camera wasn't good. It didn't take as good pictures, as good video, and it was vibrating, and so I brought it back, and I'll keep trying. So go down and put all your green beads on. I think at this point you can do that. And come up to the top, put on your bicone, and then we'll start with together with the matte beads and see if we can maybe make a better looking earring. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we've got our green beads on, and as soon as my camera decides to clear up a bit, there we go. We're going to start putting on the matte beads. Alright, so let's take 2 mats. So we're starting a new row, and I'm trying to find some mats that are close to the same size. Go under the thread that is on the side of that crystal. Okay, pull them through. Okay, go up the second one. Okay, there we go. So let me see. Just don't want to have this make the same mistake, so I kind of put this down to see. So I think that's going to work at the moment. So go around, do your first row of matte beads, and meet me at the top, and we'll put the second row on. Okay, we're back. So I did a little something different with the first 2 beads on this second row of the matte silver beads. I shouldn't have put it on, but instead of going through this first thread up here, I went through the second thread bridge. So I put 2 beads on and I went through, not the top, because it was bunching at the top. I went down 1 and put them through this thread bridge here. Okay, so let's see if that works out, because it looks like it fits better now. So put on 2 beads, but don't go through the very top one, because it bunches up the beads. Go through the second thread bridge, which is right here. Okay, and it looks like that might be a better fit. So I'll do a couple more. See how that works out. So you know how when you do flat brick stitch, you put on 2 beads and you go through the second, you go through the second thread bridge, not the first. Do that with the earring. Let's see how that works out. I mean, this is a trial, so look at it and see if you like the way it comes out. I think that bead is going to be in a much better space. I don't know that we need to do that with every row. Maybe. See, this is a learning experience. If we discover something here that's going to, make our beading that much easier, maybe that's what we need to do. So, but so far for this, if you've done the first, video and you're working on the second, let's just try that as the second. I'm going to leave both videos up. It's just going to be like the alternate ending. Okay, so I'm going to go around instead of, you watching me go around, and I'll meet you at the top, and we'll see if we can close this thing off looking better. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, moment of truth time. So what we did is, just to repeat one more time, is when we started this row, we took the 2 beads, and instead of coming down this top thread bridge, we came down the second one between these 2 beads, right here, this bead and this bead, and we're going to see if, maybe that will work out better. So, okay, so I'm on my last bead. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come up, pull that into place. I'm going to put my, you know, the pin may also have something to do with it. I'm sort of forcing my beads into place. Maybe that's not the best way to do things, but we'll see. You know, maybe you don't want to use the pin or not line them up on the pin. So I'm coming through the bead, the first bead on the side where started, and then up the last bead we put on, and I'm going to just fumble with my beads just a little bit. I'm going to put it through my pin, which, you know, is my way. Maybe, you know, maybe it does make things a little bit more difficult. Maybe move this one a little bit. Like I said, you can play with these just a teeny bit. So let's see how that looks compared to the original, which, you know, I think is acceptable. Okay, so I hope you can see that in the camera. That looks a lot better. There, you know, let's measure the size of it. Let's see if it's at this point close to the same size as the other earring. So here we go. I'm doing this right on camera, so we'll see. So the original is about, at its widest point, almost 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so this at its widest point, 3/4 of an inch. Top to bottom, the original is just the beaded part, an inch, I'd say 1 1/8 inches. This is 1 1 1/8 inches. Okay, so I think by trying to put on the same number of beads on each side, and if you can, even if you have a little gap, and maybe starting with the second thread bridge like you would in a flat brick stitch project, that might work. So give that a try and see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down the, you know, that bead I put on originally. I'm just going to get my thread out of the way at this point so we can, because I want to put the ear hook a little tight there. Okay, this is where a size 12 needle will come in handy. I'm going to leave that because, and I'm just going to cut a bit off and I'll sew that in later. I really should switch to a size 12 at this point. Okay, so here it is. We've got the earring. So we're going to take, let's see how it works out. Maybe, as I said, maybe by putting this pin in and trying to line things up, I'm sort of racking things out a bit. That's possible. I mean, you know, this is a learning process actually for both of us. I learn a lot from doing this. So I'm going to take my head pin out, and I'm going to, my straight pin out. I'm going to try to get the head pin through. So here, so far I'm going through all right. Push it through. See how it went? It went right through. So maybe that is the best way to do it. This thing is like loose, you know, it's perfectly in there. So my beads are pretty straight. They're pretty straight on the sides. Pretty straight on the other side. They match the other earring much better than the potato. So I'm going to get and hopefully I can do this without, and stay in frame, because that is an issue of mine. I didn't take my pliers out, so let me take out my pliers. All 3 of my rusty pliers, which I'm going to invest in some new ones. So I'm going to grab, let's see, make sure I'm in frame properly. I'm going to grab my ear wire, and it's about a quarter of the way down, maybe a little bit more, like so. And then I'm going to, actually I want to grab it like this, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to back out a little bit. Oops, sorry. Okay, so let me see if I can clear that up a bit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that tight, and because this ear wire, oh goodness, sorry about that. Because this ear wire is so, it's so flexible, I'm going to wrap it around with my finger. So I'm going around in a circle. Okay, I hope you can see that. Then I'm going to move my pliers a little bit. I'm going to continue, and so my loop is going to come out sort of like that. I'm going to straighten it out a little bit, and then I'm going to hold it and get it in there a little bit, and I'm going to continue wrapping it. Okay, go through here, hold it, wrapping it with my finger. I'm squishing my earring a little bit. Keep wrapping, wrap, hold it, wrap it a little more, wrap it a little more. I'm kind of squishing my earring a little bit, but that's okay. So you can use your pliers to wrap, or you can use your finger, depending on how how pliable the metal, the head pin is. So there's my wrap. I'm going to, that's a big loop. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to squish it down. Not really too worried about the loop at the moment. It was really more the beads that were the most important thing to get it. So I think my loop might be a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm going to put on the ear hook. So to do that, everybody knows how to do that. Pretty much, you're just going to take a flatmost pliers, and I'm just going to open it up this way a little bit. I'm going to put the earring on. I'm going to close it up, give it a little press. And then I'm going to cut off my thread. Oops. Now you sew yours in a little bit better than that because you want it to stay and be, really strong. And so here are earrings. Here's the original. Here's the new one. I think that's much better. I think it's got a, it fits better. It's got a nicer look to the top of it. We've kind of brought our beads together at the top a little better. I think there's always room for improvement, but I think that these came out pretty good. So I hope you watch this part of the video, the second half again, just because, maybe it's a little bit more informative. So we're going to leave these earrings, and on the next video, we're going to work on this little square stitch bracelet to go with it. This is so fast, this bracelet, because, I think when the warm weather comes, where I am anyway, you really sort of want to make something fast because you want to be outside as much as possible. I know I do. So this is the bracelet. You've probably seen it on Facebook. It matches perfectly with the earrings. It's I hate to call it the Spring Flowers bracelet because it looks more like Cleopatra. So let me clasp it and I'll show you how it looks clasped. So it's sort of Cleopatra's spring bracelet because it's it definitely has that sort of Cleopatra look about it. Now I always make my clasps a little tight because one thing that bugs me about clasping something is when there's a whole big area of space in between the two ends of the bracelet. So sometimes my clasps are a little tight, but I don't mind. Fireline is going to, as I said in the past, Fireline is going to soften, and it will soften, and it's not a problem getting it on. You might want to make yours bigger, but the least amount of space between the two ends of the bracelet, I think the better. So that's it. There's your bracelet. There are your earrings. I hope the second half has been a help to you, and I'm going to get to work on this bracelet, and I'll see you soon.